What happens when you list 1,000 things on auction on eBay? Well, I can't tell you that, but I can tell you what happens when you list 1,444 things on auction, because that's what I did over the past week. About 300 or 400 DVDs, about 700 books. Ugh, bad idea. Spoiler alert. And the rest were video games and a little bit of jewelry, but mostly just video games, books, and DVDs and CDs, media. So I auctioned all of these off. Books started at $9.95. Media started at 99 cents plus shipping for all of these. And then video games, I started at like half of what it should sell for plus shipping. Why did I do plus shipping? Well, because my idea was that I could get more buyers to come to the auctions by having over 1,000 things on auction. With that, that to me that makes sense. It would bring more buyers in. They'd bid on more stuff, and it would end up being a great way to liquidate a lot of things, like all these games here. Well, they're still here, so it was mostly unsuccessful. What does that mean? It means I didn't sell most of the stuff. So I ended up spending $190 around there on auctions. They were about 15 cents a piece to run auctions for a week. I am not automatically relisting. I said, you know what? This is just kind of an experiment. I'll learn from this. Most didn't sell. I didn't lose money. I made money off of this, and I had to liquidate stuff. And with books and DVDs and CDs, even selling them in bulk lots, you're not really getting that much money per unit of the lot. So I'm not mad about that. The two things that I took from this. The first thing was that putting HTML in your listings works. What does HTML mean? Having HTML is a link, basically a little bit of styling. I'll share a screenshot of what my listings looked like. I said I'm auctioning off hundreds or thousands, I don't remember the details, of these items. I'll combine shipping. All auctions start at a certain price, and then a link to my store category pages that show all the auctions going off at one time. So I did get more buyers. I got more views on these auctions. I got more watchers, which was good, and I did sell more stuff. The smartest thing I did was start books at $9.95, not 99 cents. I ended up making more money off of my book auctions, which probably got fewer views than the DVD and CD auctions. And that was just because I started them at a higher price, and people would go through and peruse all the old books, and they'd buy a few. And that ended up being, good. It didn't bring in enough buyers, though, to to make it profitable, or to make it, that's not right either. To make it the thing I would do again. It makes more sense for me just to take all the books, put them on Facebook Marketplace for $50, as opposed to having to go through all the hassle of trying to figure out a way to sell these books online. Probably makes more sense to even just donate them than to try and sell them for $10 a piece when you've got, almost 1,000 books. I'm sure I've got over 1,000 in the warehouse that I'm just going to take them, the listings off of eBay. I will go through them all. I know the probably 25 books I have that are worth more than $50 and more than $100. And the rest of them that are between the worthless and $50 mark, but only one sells every decade, I'm just going to get rid of those. I'll try and sell them on Facebook Marketplace. I'll throw them away if I have to, but it's really just not worth it to have these things taking up space. And pretty much, it isn't worth it to have anything at this point in my, eBay career that isn't a postcard. I'm not going to take down my sports cards listings because those are relatively simple to store. But stuff like video games and books and everything else I have in here, electronics, where, first of all, probably about a quarter of them, eBay took down the listings. Or, there was an error in the relisting or whatever it is. And so that just causes a nightmare for tracking inventory. I'm just going to take all those down. I'm going to figure out a way to sell them either in bulk lots, or I emailed another local auction house that's about an hour away from me, seeing if they'll do a live in-person auction at their location where I just take stuff and it goes onto tables and people come by and bid on stuff. Get rid of it that way. Will I add more HTML to my listings? I probably will. I have to figure out how to add that into my program. Most likely it'll be just like an additional step that occurs after the description has been created, where that description is then formatted into HTML. Whether it's going to be a standard template or if it's going to be just like, a AI prompt where I say, make this into a HTML eBay description. I don't know yet. I'll have to see how both of those go. But that's it. That's not it. Don't leave the video, but that's what I learned from this experiment. Now, how am I going to take that info and, was it worth it? Every 6 months or a year, I do these auctions, and the auctions are basically never worth it. It is never worth it to auction off low demand things, no matter how low the supply is, just because the likelihood of someone coming on that week, of 2 people coming on that week, and then bidding it up to a point where it's worth your time to do this is very, very low. If you have a captive audience, great, wonderful. But if you have a captive audience, why are you on eBay? Whatnot. Live auctions are way better if you can bring in people. If you're someone who is like a book influencer on social media or any kind of influencer, and you can bring people to a show to bid on these things, I don't think eBay makes a lot of sense for that. I don't have that. I don't have an audience who wants to buy my stuff. The second thing I learned is that getting a lot of people to these auctions, if the items have enough demand to, let's say, bring in 5 bidders, that is a good idea. If you can find, for example, the jewelry that I auctioned off, that was actually good. It was stuff like this. So like a bespoke men's ring, which is going to have more demand than, like, for example, something like this. Even this is probably a bad example. This is like a, is it Cocopelli? The trickster. I know that's what this character represents in some southwestern Indian mythology. But if this was just a necklace, for example, that would be a terrible thing to auction off. Just like random, mass-produced, boring sterling silver jewelry, bad. Kind of bespoke or interesting or rare jewelry that you start at an auction price more than scrap price. First of all, that would be a good thing to do on auction. If you're linking to all your other auctions and you're saying, again, linking to the category page on your eBay store that has all of these things, and then saying, here's how you can see my other auctions. Everything, in this case, you wouldn't say everything starts at 99 cents, but you would say everything starts at a deep discount. You're going to get good deals, and I'll combine shipping because if someone buys 10 things, they're saving $35 on shipping, maybe around there. That was a very valuable snippet to learn from this, that, like, yeah, jewelry is okay. Video games, kind of. The bar for really the only time that I am getting bidding wars on video games is when there are games that I should just sell on Amazon. Like, the people who are searching out these games on eBay are buying them to flip on Amazon. And I can tell by their addresses when they buy from me. It's not, I'm not like speculating here. I'm positive there's 6, maybe a dozen hardcore video game buyers who go on auctions and go on the new listings and are constantly buying. One in North Dakota, one in Utah, one in Florida, one in St. Louis area. And amongst these, what in Indianapolis area, and amongst these stores, these corporations or these LLCs or whatever they are, I guess LLCs are corporations. Amongst these businesses, they're going to have multiple accounts as well. So it isn't just like one account per store. They're not going to bid against each other, but they just, to keep these things in mind. I wouldn't do that again. I should just, everything that I think Amazon probably going forward, I'm going to take down all my video game listings off of eBay. The few games I have left that are worth selling on Amazon, I'm just going to Amazon FBA them, and the rest I'm going to sell locally. I think I can get $2 a game for Wii and $3 a game for Xbox 360 and PS3. That's what I mostly have. And hardly any of those games have a resale value above $10 plus shipping. Above $15. Let's put it that way. So the people who buy them are either going to be local stores or local resellers who go to flea markets and sell them for $5 to $10 a piece, or they're going to be just people who hoard video games for their own purposes. Fine by me. DVDs and music, it's good to. I definitely have made more money selling sealed CDs than I have made selling sealed DVDs, and I don't think it's because of the buyer's market. I think it's because there are more sellers who are going out of their way to find sealed DVDs as opposed to sealed CDs, and it's easier, in my experience, to sell rare CDs on eBay than Amazon. For whatever reason, on Amazon, they're just not doing well. I don't know if the buyers aren't going there or what, but you can get away with FBAing some pretty obscure sealed DVDs and making sales, or even just MFing them. But again, I sell way more obscure sealed CDs on eBay than Amazon, and the auction was a nightmare. I made, here's 3. I paid 10 cents for the bubble mailer, and I made 45 cents on the sale after fees and everything. Absolutely atrocious. Let's talk about fees, though, too. If you're still here, you don't care that I talk about fees. This is a kind of a benefit that you don't really think about, or at least I didn't think about until I really began nailing down what I wanted to auction off versus what I wanted to sell by it now versus what I wanted to try and sell locally versus what's going in the trash. And don't say, oh, pick it up, because I don't want to deal with you. The fees, though, let's talk about that. There's no promotion fees, or at least I don't pay to promote auctions. There's no, 15% promotion fee on, for example, this game, that I would pay. If I were to sell this game individually, it'd sell for $10 around there, and I'd pay $1.50 in promotion fees, whether or not I was the lowest price or not. Whereas on auctions, that promotion fee is gone, and so you can make a little bit more money if you price your items correctly that way. Again, I'm not recommending doing this for video games, but just since we're on the topic, if you really are concerned about the promoted fees that I think you have to pay if you want to be competitive in a market, starting your auction at, let's say, 80% of what the market price is, plus shipping, because you will make more money adding shipping onto an auction than you would with free shipping. Just again, one more thing I've noticed. That is kind of a good way, I think, to skirt the otherwise burden that you would experience from those fees, again, from the promoted search boost. Just because when people are auctioning things off, they're typically sorting by auction, or some are sorting by auction, and so it's just not there. Benefit's not there. That's pretty much it. I think you guys get the gist of it. Auctions are okay when you're going to have more than 5 bidders competing. That's a good rule of thumb. If you're auctioning off things that have a floor for their value, don't go to that floor. Go above that floor. and link tier categories when you're auctioning off. I'd say more than, I mean, you can do it whenever you want to, but I would save that until I was auctioning off 100 things at once, just because that's where you're going to see the biggest boost. I've done this before, and when I had like 20 things, it just wasn't really worth it to try and get buyers to peruse your other listings. You really want to make it more of an event, like kind of mimic what real, quote unquote, real auction houses do, and see how they market their auctions and see how they categorize things, and steal ideas from those who have decades of experience. Thanks for watching. See you guys later.